I'm Travel Grandma, and if you're new to my channel, I usually do van tours. I'll film some of my travel journey, and I meet some incredible people. So, I happen to be at Maryruth's house, and if you're on the Nomads Down the Road website, you've seen Maryruth in the intro video. So I think you're going to recognize her. And she has an incredibly inspiring story that I'd love for you to hear. Maryruth?
Hi, happy to be here.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this. So I tell you what, I would love to spotlight you.
Okay.
So I'm going to have you actually sit down, if
Cool.
you don't mind, so I'm not distracting you by all my moving around.
We can do that.
Yeah, and let's ask you some questions. How about that?
That sounds good.
Okay. I'm going to move the camera down just a little bit to get you in the frame better. How about that?
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
Ah, that's good. There we go. That's my good side.
That's your good side?
If I have
Okay, perfect. So we've had a chance to have some conversations as I've been visiting you. And thank you for having me on your curb.
Thanks for coming.
You're a Nomads Down the Road host. And this is the second time I visited you, but this is a different house.
Yep.
You were in Wisconsin last time, I think.
I was.
Yeah. Okay, so a lot has happened since then. It's been what? Well, probably almost 2 years, huh?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It was the summer, yeah.
Life has thrown a lot at me.
But before that, you've gone through quite a bit as well.
True.
I didn't know this before, but you shared with me today, earlier, that you lived in isolation for several years.
A decade.
Yeah, and so I'm going to title this Isolation to Inspiration. You like that title?
I love it.
Okay, so tell me, how did you end up? And you said that you were living in what you called an egg.
That's right.
You were off-grid in this trailer for several years.
Yep.
Tell us why.
I am a PTSD veteran, and I, like many veterans, tried to fix myself with alcohol and, you know, the usual things. They don't work. So I isolated myself, and I found 40 acres in the mountains of northern Arizona. It was perfect, and I had a little 10-foot fiberglass egg like a scamp. It's a burrow, and I put it right in the middle of the 40 acres, and that's where I lived for 10 years by myself, getting myself straight. The world was overwhelming. I couldn't deal with people. The world's people-y. There's a lot of people out there, and I couldn't deal with them. But after the first several years, I started changing the way I thought about things. I didn't see everything as against me. I started looking at things instead of looking at what could happen. I started seeing the beautiful sunsets out here, and there isn't a lot out here. It's a beautiful place, but it's very stark beauty. You have to see the beauty in cactus and lava and things that bite. But it's there, and there's a lot of it. And once I started the baby steps of changing the way I looked at things, I wasn't afraid anymore.
Do you think that being by yourself for a while, because I know that you were coming from a place where you were living with, well, your brother, your adopted brother there, and it was a little bit stressful for you. So do you think that having that alone time was beneficial to you?
I do, but I think that's always been part of my character. I am very comfortable with myself. It's other people that give me a problem. And I'm very comfortable. I need alone time to recharge. I think a lot of people do, and you don't get it in this modern world. It's overwhelming out there, and we don't have time to just sit down and read a book or watch a sunset. You're always going. I wouldn't take it to the extreme I did if I was to do it again, but I know better now. You can get so entrenched in just the feeling of must be away from everything else that you forget to stop and look around. and see that the threat really isn't there
Yeah.
as much as you thought it was. I mean, obviously you have to be situationally aware any place in the world anymore.
Yeah.
You always did.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not, the universe isn't aimed at me. And I thought it was for a long time.
Yeah. So how was your childhood? Did you grow up as an isolated kid? I mean,
I grew up in a big Catholic family, Irish Catholic family, with cousins everywhere and friends, and in a beautiful part of Chicago, Oak Park, glorious place, 3-story houses. I had a Norman Rockwell childhood, and my parents told me I could be anything I wanted to, and I was, until life gave me a series of knocks that just, and it does it to everybody, but it just took my self-confidence. It took everything. I got Crohn's syndrome. I was hospitalized for almost a year. I was sick all the time. I couldn't do things I wanted to do. It just beats you down.
well, look how resilient you have bounced back.
Exactly. I lived through it. One day at a time is not just for AA. It's for a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect to live through it, and I was surprised I lived through it. But I think a lot of that is just my nature is fairly optimistic. I used to wake up and go, oh, I didn't die. I guess I'll go do something.
Yeah.
And to tell the truth, I still do sometimes.
Yeah.
But like living with my brother, who's a natural pessimist, make for some very interesting conversation.
Yeah. See, I don't see you as the introvert that you're talking about. I see you as a very social person.
And I am, but in small increments.
Okay.
You know how I have to go and nap every day, and if I'm in a crowd, I can do crowds for about an hour and a half. I used to love them. I used to love walking in downtown Chicago. I love the ebb and flow of the humanity. And now, if I walk through a crowd, I have to go sleep for 10 hours. Mm-hmm. My whole system just rejects it. And I am not alone. I think there's more people out there that are just tired of the constant getting hit over the head with a bat or something is what it feels like.
Yeah.
It's just so odd.
So would you...
I have to stop for a second. There's cows at the library.
Okay.
Why are there cows at the... Do you see them?
There is cows at the library.
we don't have cows at the library, and that's on the railroad tracks.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Okay, so cows on the railroad track
That's
out her
distracting.
window. You never know what you're going to find here in this small little town.
And if you don't pay attention, you don't notice them. We don't usually have cattle at the library.
Yeah. But you overcame some pretty significant traumas. What would you say some of the baby steps would be to take for somebody that maybe is going through challenges right now?
Take the time to grieve. You have to go through it. You have to climb in that hole and pull it in after you for a little while. I still have times when it's not even depression. It's more just, you can call it depression. I watch Shane. I watch Old Yeller. I watch Waterloo Bridge. I cry for 6 hours. I just watch the most depressing things I can find, and I'm there on the couch going, at least my dog doesn't have rabies, and my fiance didn't get killed in the war. And by the end of it, I'm bored with it. My system has reset itself because it's very cathartic to cry. And we're taught that you never should. And you don't get over it, but you can learn to live with these things.
Yeah.
You just don't want anyone else to see them.
Right.
But the baby steps are the first ones. Get out of the house. Sleep in your camper in your driveway. Mm-hmm. I did that for weeks before I ever went on a real campground when I left living off grid. Mm-hmm. I saw Sisters on the Fly, and I thought, well, I'll just watch them, online. And then I met one, and I met two, and they were up here camping at the Grand Canyon, and I joined them, and all of my fears of, what if they don't like me? What if I don't fit in? What if this, that, and the other were just ridiculous?
Wow.
People don't look at you and say, I'm not going to like you. They look at you and say, oh, you're different than us. I want to learn about that. I like that. I wasn't prepared for that.
Yeah, so sometimes we can create our own limiting beliefs.
Absolutely. I think 90% of it is self-inflicted.
Mm-hmm.
if I have one regret, it's that I let it go on so long, because nobody told me, get up and take a chance, a little chance. Doesn't have to be a big chance.
Yeah.
Make a phone call. Call somebody you haven't talked to in 5 years. That was one of the first I did. I called my sister-in-law and said, hi. And she went, what? Who is this? And I mean, my family was 100% on my side. They let me go through it. It's just not easy, but life really isn't. I think a lot of people are just afraid to go through the pain to get to the other side. Or we're told, you know, you can medicate, oh, nothing should ever hurt, take this, take that.
Yeah.
Didn't work for me. This does. And now, when someone like Elaine is going to be in the area, I go out of my way to say, I can meet you somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's have lunch.
Yeah.
And I love hearing about her travels. I love the channel. I love seeing what other people are doing. And that's all on you, or on me.
So you're in a house now.
Yes.
Are you still going to travel?
I am. As soon as I have this to where I want it, it has a little more restoration to be done. But even I'm enjoying that immensely. It's a very small house, so it's like a big camper. And it's kind of like when you're a kid and you have a dollhouse and you get to decorate everything and it's all tiny and doable. It's a very manageable place. And I'm having fun with it. But I also have 2 campers in the back in my camper van. I've already done a few little trips in the area. I'd like to stay here and explore this area. I lived here for 18 years and I can name 15 places I'd like to see I never did.
So what do you think when you do get back on the road? What do you think it's going to be like from your travels before and then what they're going to be like now?
My travels before, and I full-timed for 4 years in that egg, were running away. I was always going from somewhere. I would stay someplace until I got uncomfortable with too many people, or, you know, there was too much activity, or I knew the area too well. I had to go. In my head, there was always a voice going, you gotta go, gotta go. Now I'm going to things. I want to go to Grand Canyon Caverns and check it out. I want to go to Hula Pie and check out the beautiful river down there, which I lived here for years. I never got that far. It's only 30 miles. That's a shame. So now I'm going with a positive attitude. I'm going to see the beauty that's all around me here that I couldn't see before because I was too locked up in myself.
So what advice would you give someone who wants to go but hasn't started yet?
My best advice is take baby steps. Get your camping equipment and use it in your yard. Use it in your kitchen. Get comfortable with it. Take out your camping stove and cook a meal on it. Make some hot dogs, make some hamburgers. Sleep on your cot, because if you've got a cot in your van, it is not like sleeping on a bed. You need to learn how to sleep in a narrow space without falling out of bed. Ask me how I know this. But it's also a learning experience. Learn how to get comfortable with things like getting in and out of your car at 4 in the morning if you have to go to the bathroom. It's not as easy as you think. It's not just a matter of doing it. It's a matter of muscle memory. And the little baby steps. I camped in my driveway for weeks before I took my first trip to a KOA. And KOA is pretty civilized. So, you know, it's not like you're out in the woods somewhere with bears. But take baby steps. Just take them. Practice.
Yeah, practice. Yeah. And if not now, when?
Exactly.
When?
Exactly. Do it now.
It has been such a delight knowing this lady. Seriously, as we have had so much fun together.
We have.
Yeah.
I think we're related from another generation or something.
Yeah. Anyway.
Obviously.
Well, see you down the road.
Bye.